Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Little Modular. Today I give you Mix 3, really cool and super useful module by a new company out of Belgium called JORANALOGUE. They are new, but they have already released some really useful and great looking quality modules like Test 3, Switch 4 or the latest one, Compare. I will review all of these modules pretty soon, but for now let's get back to Mix 3. Now you might say, what is the big deal, old man? It's a mixer. 3 ins, 1 out. Thank you very much, we're done here. Well, not really. See, this is one of the sweetest solutions for your modular you can think of, because it consists of few vital functions that are molded into one module, which is super useful in any system. I have one of these, but I have this for a few weeks now, and I'm planning to have at least 4 of them. That's how useful these are. See, because it's not only a mixer, which consists of 3 inputs, actually 4 inputs, but more on that later, and 1 output, but it's also VCA, and 4 VCAs to be precise in it. So you have a mixer, 4 VCAs, and it could be even a distortion box and a percussion sounds generator. Mix 3 has a lot more to it than just mixing, which I'll show you in a second. But let's start with basics for now. As I said previously, A, B, C, these are your inputs. So you have the inputs right here on top, A, B, C. That's where you input your audio sources. But as a side note, you can also input some CV signals in here, because it also handles CV signals. But for now, we'll start with audio. So if you use just those 3 inputs and the output, which is located right here, you can use that as your daily bread vanilla mixer. So for example, if I turn it up, here's my first source, which by the way is Bang digital oscillator. You can see a really useful LED flickering here, showing the level of incoming signal, which is also very useful, especially when you're playing live and you want to see what's happening in your system. So this should be a standard on any mixer in my opinion. So I can just use that. Here I have a Xox box, and here I have some simple sine wave out of Rubicon, which I will transform into something really useful in a second. Okay, so in this case we're only using this as a mixer, but what's really important here is that you can apply a CV to each of those channels, so you can use it as a VCA. Plus, below here, you have an extra 4th VCA, so you can control the whole output of it, which adds an extra layer of flexibility. Besides that, the last input right here, as you can see, this is the auxiliary input. It's a 4th input without attenuator, so you can just plug something in here and you get the unity gain mixing with that. Let's see what's going to happen when we input some CV signals into the CV ins. I will use, for starters, 2 outputs from my PEG by 4MS, and I will start with the first channel right here, and when I plug a CV in to the first A channel, this knob becomes attenuator. Okay, so just like that. And the really cool thing about this is that when you drive it to the maximum and you apply some CV to drive it beyond 0 dB, you're going to have some really nice distortion on the channel. So you can not only amplify but distort it in a really nice musical way. Okay, so if I apply some extra voltage from, let's say, second channel of maths to the B channel on mix A, which is my Xox box, you're gonna get this really nice overdrive. Listen what's going to happen now. Hear it? Okay, that's without it, and that's with it. Get this really nice overdrive. Okay, now this overdrive can be used in many different ways. This can be also used as a source of percussion sounds. I have a simple sine wave which is connected to the C input, and what I will do right now is I will patch envelope from another channel of PEG here with really spiky envelope and a maximum voltage, so you can hear this. You can hear this distortion, really nice musical distortion going on. Okay, when I fiddle with the applied voltage, it's gonna change the timbre, right? I can also fiddle with the sine wave from Rubicon, so you can get all sorts of percussion sounds just using those two. You can hear it, parameters. So voltage applied to CV in on mix 3, and the sine wave, and of course also the envelope from PEG. So you can get some really nice, as you can hear, some really nice kick drums, for example. Really nice distorted stuff. Okay, just like that. If we bring in some other channels, now we have a really nice saturated signal coming from mix 3. That's not all, because now we can use the fourth VCA, which will affect all of the channels. So for example, what about if we connect a simple LFO wave out of Batumi and control all the channels? That's what I do right now. Okay, you get some nice stuttering effect. That's with the square wave. That's how it sounds with the sine wave. So you can get some really crazy effects with that. And of course you can connect anything you want here. You can connect some envelope, let's say from mats, and make them really fast and get creative. You get the picture, right? And as I mentioned before, you can also connect a fourth auxiliary input right here. Okay, how about another patch? A, B and C channels are all fed from the single oscillator, but just different waves. These are some sine, saw and pulse width modulation. And I'm modulating them with different LFOs. Two of those are from Octosource, and the third one is from Batumi. So you get this really nice morphing between waves situation, and that's how it sounds like. Okay, you can speed it up. You can make it really fast. slow it down. And you know, it could be really clean and hi-fi without pushing it too far. But if you want, you can really, you know, saturate it, even distort it. Another patch, in this case I sort of reversed the order. So what I've done is I have molded one single waveform, and I have inputted the same waveform to all three inputs, A, B, and C. You have the same signal on all three channels. But I have applied some different modulation to the CV ins, and this modulation is in the audio rate range. So I have connected different oscillators, and you get this ever-evolving, ever-changing timbre modulation kind of thing, depending on what you have connected, of course, to the CV inputs, and what is the pitch of those modulators. And well, maybe I'll just show it to you. It's perfect for some drones. Okay. Okay, so you can have a different mixture of those intermodulations. You can of course change the pitch, and of course it will change when I switch frequencies on the oscillators. And of course nothing stands in the way of controlling all of those together with the fourth VCA at the bottom, so we control the whole mixer with it. Okay? So it sort of acts as one huge VCA. As you can see, we have just transferred mix 3 into some modulation monster with just few cables and external envelope. So as you can see by now, mixer is just one of dozens uses of this thing. It's cheap, it's built like a tank, it looks really great in any rack because it has this minimalistic, nice layout, and it's super useful. So as usual, if you like that video, please subscribe and spread the good word. Bye bye. I'll see you next time.